Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how the next Final Destination movie opening disaster should be a cruise ship. So, I still have not seen Bloodlines yet. And so, when it comes to the Final Destination movies, one thing is very certain: every single opening disaster is amazing, except for number 4, the Final Destination. That race car track sequence just was horrible. Dear God, that movie's horrible. But every opening scene has always, the opening disaster has always, I mean always, been spot on. And so this video will also be a ranking and as well. And so first, the whole cruise ship thing. Every opening disaster is supposed to instill an immense intense fear in your mind, something that is so realistic that it makes you not want to do that in real life. And so every opening disaster, and I'm not even sure what this sixth one is about. I think it's like a Sky Needle restaurant and it collapses. And so everything is supposed to be something realistic, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know how realistic a Sky Needle restaurant is going to be. Anyway, unless you live in a type of city that has one. And so, with the whole cruise ship thing, I say go full on Titanic. Sink that ship. And, because sadly in real life, some cruise ships do experience some malfunctions and stuff. Some end up sinking like that of the Titanic. One of the worst disasters ever in the real world. And I remember watching the movie and watching all the practical effects added in with CG of the ship tipping one way and people falling and sliding down, it tipping another way, people getting thrown overboard, the waves, the water, the crashes. I think James Cameron directed that. He did a phenomenal job directing that in a time when the CG wasn't as great as it is now. And so, they've done so many different opening disasters. They've done air, they've done with a plane, they've done a pile up and everything, a bridge collapsing, a roller coaster accident. And so, I think the next thing should just be water, because the bridge thing isn't really that much watery. It was mostly just a giant pavement collapsing and stuff. And then of course there's the racetrack thing. But I think the next step should have been a cruise ship. And I'm very shocked and surprised that Bloodlines didn't do a cruise ship. That should have been the first thing that should have popped in the writer's head or the director's head. But anyway, now on to my ranking. Okay, so worst to best. So number 5, of course, the Final Destination. Number 4, the race car track thing was just stupid. And I mean just stupid. The way the car tires and the cars were flying around and everything did not feel realistic at all. It felt more like some type of gimmick for young people. That's also during a time where the CGI was extremely heavy. And not only that, but it was during the craze of the whole 3D thing. I hated 3D so much. Every time I went to go watch a 3D movie, barely nothing came out at me. And it was at the point where I just took my glasses off. But then, of course, if you do that, the movie looks fuzzy. But that's the way I watched it, because those glasses were getting on my nerves. And so the kills were very horrible and embarrassing and stuff. And it's just still the worst movie of the franchise and the worst opening kill. In number four spot is Final Destination 5. I debated which was gonna take this spot, number one or number five, because I actually liked the bridge collapse. I think the practical and the CG was really done very well, and it was an obstacle and everything. But it felt, the reason why it's ranked at number four because it felt very much adventure action packed, kind of like you really had to, scale that collapsing bridge and hop around places and do a lot of running and helping people out, and it just felt, it was cool, slightly believable, but also slightly not. I honestly don't believe half of those people would have made it as far as they did if a bridge collapsed and everything. Because when bridges collapse, they're pretty fast and everything. And this was pretty slow. But, with the way the bridge was killing people, having them fall in the water, also that dude on the bus and everything, the one guy who got hit by what was that, tar or something like that, and it ripped his skin off. It was pretty cool to see, but it felt more adventure-y, action packed. At number three, I'm gonna have to probably give it up to the first movie, the Final Destination, because of the simple fact, as cool as that was, the rocking back and forth, they didn't have really a budget. And so once you get to the CG and stuff like that, that's pretty good. The walls of the plane ripping open and people flying out. What was it? I think a cart hit somebody, the food cart smashed into somebody. But the most impressive part was when the flames happened. The flames just singed everybody's skin. And it wasn't done in that dopey CGI where it feathers around your body like a cloud. And then everybody's burnt to a crisp real fast. No, they took their time and showed you, hey, this is how you cook a human. And then, of course, when the plane exploded in real life, and then, the shockwave, and it busted the windows open, that was cool. And number two is Final Destination 3, the roller coaster. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like amusement park rides. The last time I ever got on one that was spinning around and flipping around, I was a little kid. And I remember this one lady had to kind of hold me because she could see I just was out of it and everything. And I just felt like I wanted to throw up. I hate those things. And so I don't really remember much of what happened with this, but I do remember it was done very well. And the director of the first movie came back. All I remember is the kids hanging upside down and stuff. But I just remember it just looked terrifying and stuff. And number one, it should be pretty obvious, Final Destination 2, the car pile up. Till this day, I'm always hearing reviewers talking about how they're scared to drive behind a log truck. And I remember this one dude talking about how when the bottle went under the brake and she's trying to hit the brake and it won't brake and everything. And that stuff was terrifying, man. Could you imagine trying to hit the brake and something's wedged there? Not only that, but they showed you individually how everybody died in a slightly slow but fast-paced kind of way. The big log just went smashing through the cop car and splattered that dude. The explosions, the real cars flipping around, and yes, they did use practical effects, but it was mostly, it was also that of CGI. And so, it was just a spectacular thing to see in the movie, but terrifying at the same time. And so with all those opening kills, could you imagine if they were to do that with the cruise ship and everything? Like, really, like they could really come up with some good stuff if they have a good director, a good prop team, and a good VFX CGI team. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.